It's really weird interviewing yourself because it feels really self-indulgent. Hey Notion, I'm Poppy Ajudha and I'm here shooting my print cover. What has been the most rewarding moment of your career so far? I would say was probably performing at Royal Albert Hall for the BBC Proms, where I got to reimagine my first album songs with an ensemble, and it was, pretty incredible singing in that space. What do you hope to achieve with your next project or album, both creatively and personally? Personally, I hope to grow through the album. I think writing songs is such a self-exploration to who I am or who I want to be or how I want to be in the future. And I think often when I write songs, I'm singing to a person or singing to a version of myself. So I hope to grow from the next album. Creatively, I hope to challenge myself. I hope that I've challenged myself and my songwriting to be even better than any other song I've written. I think every time I write a new song, I want it to, or I think it's the best song I've ever written, which I think is really important because I think you have to love everything you do so much. What was your favorite part about making the record? Just all the creative bits. So I would say the initial writing of the songs, going to LA, finding people that I love to work with, and creating and exploring and finding the sound that I wanted from each song and building outwards from there. As you get one song or three songs, you're I know what I want it to be now. And that's really exciting because in that moment it's yours and it's nobody else's, and it's just these songs that are so personal and there's no expectation around it. You just get to make what you love. But also music videos. I love making music videos. I love creating this visual world that speaks to the lyrics of the song and the story of the album. What's your favorite city or country to visit when you're touring? I did a bunch of shows in Japan and that was amazing because it was so different from anything I'd experienced before culturally. Even the way the audience behaves felt so different and special, and it's such a beautiful place. You've collaborated with various artists from Tom Misch to other stars. What have you learned from these collaborations and how do they shape your music? I think I learn from everyone and anyone I come across, and I have to be really careful with who I let in my life because I think that people have such a big influence. I've loved working with Tom. I've known him since I was probably about 17. So it was really special to tour together, and some of the musicians in the band as well, I've known from the beginning of my career. Your forthcoming album is simply called Poppy. How do you think this reflects the context of the project? I think because this project feels so related to my personal growth, I feel like a completely different person to who I was 1 or 2 years ago. I feel like I've changed so much, I've grown so much through the songs and just through self-exploration. And I wanted this album to be an expression of that kind of raw honesty and a kind of step into, for me, what feels like a new era of my life. I tried different sounds. I experimented with the genre of the style that people know of me, and that was scary but really fun and exciting. Who was your childhood hero and how have they influenced who you are today? I think people are just people. So I've never been someone who ever had posters on their walls or I think humans are flawed and we shouldn't see them as otherwise. But I was definitely very obsessed with Adele and Amy Winehouse when I was younger. Also Britney Spears. Britney Spears is very iconic. What has been the most challenging song for you to write, either musically or emotionally, and why? Being honest in music can always be scary. And then when I feel emotionally challenged, then I have to release the song because it feels important to me. It feels like I'm exposing a part of myself. So some of the songs that are about queer love felt scary to me when I first wrote them. I remember even at one point considering changing the pronouns just for the sake of it, being more accessible. But then I felt like I was silencing my truth, which so obviously didn't make sense. Girl Next Door and Temptation, both I felt that way about. And I had this feeling that if I feel in my chest when I hear the song, a sense of peace and ease, okay, it's good. But sometimes you just hear it and you're no, the drum's still not right. Oh, I think we're done. You looked so guilty.